fucks. Bunch of rowdy fucks, dude. It's way too late. It's too late for your rowdiness. Everybody calm down. Calm down. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Don't. Bitch, look around. You in my house. I make the rules up in here. You gonna tell me not to tell you what to do? I got my finger on the button. Calm the fuck down. Everybody just... Why do you need to calm down? Because you're too fucking agitated, man. It's just... You gotta slow the process a bit, okay? Please, for everybody's benefit. What the fuck is he on about? What the fuck is he on about? Damn planet Mars. Yeah, me and the chat, you know, it's kind of like a typical family relationship. You know what I mean? For the most part, we love each other, but we fight like we don't. That's basically how the chat works out. And it's not quite 4 here, but it's close enough. Skooma is delicious, yeah. Everybody needs to calm the fuck down right now. Okay? All of you. All of you need to calm the fuck down. How have I been? Ignore the toxic faggots in the chat. By the way, smoke more weed. Yeah. Should I watch Paul or do my essay on geopolitical framework of Europe? Yeah, I'm watching Paul. That's a good choice. That's a really good choice. Nobody wants to do that essay. That essay is terrible. Whatever. Yeah, seriously. Thank you, DJ Pancake. Everybody's so fucking up in arms. Dude, I get these... Somebody asked if I'll ever shave and be white guild Paul again. I get these, like, urges sometimes to just shave my fucking beard off. It's a really strong urge. It usually happens in the morning. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll catch that first glimpse of myself in the mirror and I'm just like... I just gotta get rid of this fucking beard, man. What if you were the one that needs to calm down, Paul? Well, that wouldn't matter here because this is my realm. So I tell you to calm down. You don't tell me to calm down. Okay, I'm not taking fucking advice from you. Okay? This is my domain. You're just a guest here. Cynic, thank you for the $20, my friend. Get mad. I can't really... I mean, I can't turn mad on and off. Plus, the whole point is to calm the fuck down. That's the best way to do it. And if you can't do that, then... You're being a good boy. Good to hear that. You know, I guess above all, what I've tried to do here is engender some kind of mutual respect between me and the chat. Not necessarily that I expect them to treat me with respect, but that even the most cold-hearted trolls, there's an element of mutual respect there. I don't think we're there, but we're working on it, dude. Yeah, we respect women in this chat. Okay? No wangling your dicks at women. Do not wangle. What did you win when you won the beauty pageant, Paul? A crown? Yeah, it was like a little crown and a scepter and like a sash that said Mr. Petite. My name is Humongous. You respect me a lot more than when you first started watching Highdeology. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. That means my mind control technique is working. You're slowly being convinced to respect me despite no reason to actually respect me, which that's exactly where I want it. That's exactly where I want it. As a former smoker, do you ever miss cigarettes? Yeah. They still look like promising little things. When I see like TJ light one up, I'm like, oh yeah, those. But I keep the withdrawals in check with the vape shit. So what was my brand? Marlboros. I smoked Reds for a lot of years. I switched to lights for a lot of years, and then kind of I think I smoked those like Marlboro 27s for a while. The only Marlboros that I could never stand smoking were the mediums, dude. For some reason, Marlboro mediums, like, not a fan. Yeah, Reds are the best, I agree. You seem happier since you moved from Bellevue. Did you not like it there? I actually really liked it there. I don't know if I'm happier, but it's good that I seem so. If you can't be happy, seem happy. Yeah, I mean, I was probably pretty stressed out my last couple of months in Bellevue. Because, I knew this move was happening. I was really pretty anxious about that. Couldn't really share it with anybody because, I wanted to make sure everything was in place before it was announced. So it's just like, I don't know, I felt like I was walking around with this great big old secret from everybody all the time. I like to be honest with what's going on in my life, especially on these streams. So I started avoiding these. Why are you always streaming from TJ's place? Well, TJ's got a set next to mine here that has a desk and a chair. And it's out in the studio, so it's quiet. And it's away from other people, so I'm not keeping people awake with my babbling and bullshit. So it's just a good spot. What's your general opinion of cops? I think they're just people doing a difficult job that gets to them. I'm just talking in general, of course, not the fucking murderers who shoot unarmed civilians. I mean, I've got this, there's no such thing as a good cop. Because, well, I guess I'll hesitate from saying no such thing, but the good cops are very, very rare. Even a very good cop who's respectful and does his job is probably complicit in covering up, at least with his silence, misdeeds in his fellow cops. So a good cop that's in a crooked-ass police department where bad shit is going on that says and does nothing is complicit in the same shit. What kind of doctor did Brett Keane want to be when he grew up? An ornithologist. I am displeased. I'm actually working on What the Fuck Happened to Wishmaster right now, which is actually going to be pretty fun video. I'm going to start writing tomorrow. Hopefully get it filmed for early next week. There's no such thing as good people. A good person is just going to be a term we turn to label somebody that's in agreement with their own sense of morals. Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to get technical. I was speaking more specifically about cops. I mean, everybody's an asshole. Sure. I'll go with that. Just most assholes don't have the legal authority to point a gun at you and order you around and take you into custody and shit. Only cop assholes have that. I hardly watch movies, but I watch your reviews. That's cool. What do you think about net neutrality? I don't want to talk about net neutrality again, dude. We had a big stream where I went off on lots and lots and lots of tangents about that, and I'm not feeling like doing it again. Paul, get this person on DP, get that person on DP, do this on DP, do that on DP. My standard answer, I don't book people on DP, so you're barking up the wrong tree. My asshole has leftover residue because you neglected to wipe properly. That's the worst, man. Itch ass. Dude, itch ass has got to be the worst, right? Especially when you're out somewhere and there's nothing you can do about it and you just got to live with the itch ass until you can get to the bathroom to take care of the itch ass. Man. Do one of your nihilistic rants. Ironically, they give me hope. Well, somebody asked, like, how would I do a global eugenics program? I don't know that I would be in favor of, like, eugenics, but I would be able to hear arguments for, like, some really strict guidelines enforced by the government. Like, let's say that we come up with some kind of medical procedure where every child that's born could be sterilized. Not to the point where their hormones are fucked up, but just to the point where they can't make children. And then when they get old and they get married and they decide that they want to have a child and they can prove to the authorities that they have the mental and economic acumen to have a child, then they can have their procedure reversed and they get an allotment to have, a couple kids. But, if they're not able to get their shit together enough to demonstrate the base ability to take care of a child, then no skin off society's teeth because they don't reproduce, right? Bum ba da bum ba ba bum. That would cause an economic collapse. Good. I mean, do you think it's better just waiting on the precipice of one and allowing things to get worse and worse? Or do you think that, forcing that collapse and a restructuring, it's an inevitable thing, right? How can you check if you yourself are a loser? Man, just look in the mirror and ask yourself the question. Yeah, the shape of an L, dude. That's how you know a loser. Fuck, man. I left my drink inside. Son of a bitch. What do you think sounds worse? Paying $3,000 in court fines with a minimum wage paycheck or going to jail for 3 weeks? I got caught with weed and it's some total bullshit. I mean, either one of those is pretty fucked up. Because, if you can pay, obviously, I think that'd be preferable to spending 3 weeks in jail. Well, yeah, duh, it's going to happen. I'm going to die one day, but I'm not putting a gun in my mouth because it's going to happen. I'm not asking you to put a gun in your mouth. I'm hypothesizing about how we can stop people from having children that they have no intention of properly raising, no capability to raise. Time to do away with the oopsies. Oops, I accidentally created a life that's going to be around for 60, 70 years. Oopsie. No. Nope. That's not an oopsie. That's an act of, just profound selfishness. Good old authoritarian Paul. Why not just murder babies when they pop out? Isn't it easier, rather than going through a surgical procedure, to just sterilize the population temporarily? Paul, come on by the Del Taco. Oh, it's Del Taco James, dude. I remember Del Taco James. This just in. Humans are fungus. Really? Wow. Yeah, the only way to solve that problem is to take away people's fucking ability to just, whoopsie daisy, accidentally got a load in my snatch. Now I've created a life that I don't want to take care of. That's got to stop. That's got to stop if we're going to have a reasonable populace. And the only way to stop that is to absolutely remove the ability of people to fuck it up. Otherwise, people are just going to keep fucking it up. Oops, I slipped down the stairs and landed snatch first into a pile of sperm. Whoopsie daisy. Wish I had a job and the mental capability of taking care of children. That would have been a good thing to work out before I got load snatched, but I didn't, so whoops. Stupid. Yep, slipped and bounced on a dick a bunch of times when I fell. Whoops! The whoops are what keep life interesting. Yeah, I want you as a person to be able to make as many whoopses as you want with your own life. But when your whoops includes creating another life, dragging another life from non-existence into this, with no intention of preparing it for this properly, with no capability to prepare it for this property, that's not a whoops for you. I mean, it is a whoops for you because your life is now chasing around little fucking kids and dealing with all their bullshit. But it's a bigger whoops for them because they have to exist. You see? Just funny, like, people are always so prepared to talk about the rights of parents. Oh, my reproductive rights and this right and that right. Nobody ever wants to talk about the rights of a child to not be brought into the world and neglected, raised improperly so that it's socially fucking inept. Non-existence is preferable to existence. I mean, it depends on the existence, don't it? Yeah, that's why you got to preempt that whole thing. Christians say, would you kill an unwanted 6-year-old? I mean, I think that's a dumb argument against abortion. You could just preempt that. There would be no abortion if people had to get a license to have a child. No need for abortion now. Just preempt it totally. Now you don't get the fucking option until you can prove that you're capable of raising a child. Nah. Because that infringe on my rights. My rights to blithely create a human life that I have no intention or capability of taking care of. Man, my God-given right. Nope. Nope. It's a good minimum age to get a child, like the earliest. I mean, I don't know. Probably varies from individual to individual situation. Right. If you were listening before, I said, develop a medical process, some kind of an implant or something by which a person could be temporarily sterilized until they prove themselves capable of having a child, and then the procedure is reversed, and that person gets to pop out a little fucking mouth breather, and the world goes on. I mean, it's not going to piss me off that you impregnate as many women as you can. It's going to piss you off, though. I won't even know you did it. And you'll be paying a giant fucking portion of your money towards some chick that you can't stand. Whoops. Got Paul. I bet Paul is pissed right now. How do they prove themselves capable? The standard is going to be vastly different from person to person. What constitutes capable? I mean, if we can come up with a series of standards that says that this person is mentally, capable of operating a moving car, or this person is mentally capable of making the decision to buy alcohol. I mean, we've come up with all these other arbitrary age and lifestyle limits on things. Like, why is this one so controversial? I don't know exactly what the baseline would be. There are experts for that sort of thing. But I would think that, passing some kind of a psychological examination, taking some fucking pretty hardcore parenting courses and being willing to invest in that, being willing to demonstrate that the environment that you're going to raise the child in is suitable for the environment. I mean, I think that those would all be baselines. Would it stop completely people raising children poorly? No. but would it at least slow down, neglect, like abject and utter neglect? I think so. Yeah, I think it would. I just worry that the standard would be like, well, the parents are atheist heathens, can't let them. Yeah, I don't think there should be a religious litmus test. Unless, of course, that religion, involved you radicalizing the child or doing some crazy fucking bullshit in the name of religion. In which case, I mean, I don't know that it's actually a really good idea, but it's an interesting thing to talk about. It's interesting to me because, once again, there seems to be, people seem uncomfortable with talking about, the right of a child not to be raised poorly. The right of a child to have a parent, at least one, that takes care of it, that nurtures it, that raises it to cope with the world in a positive way. Why is that not something that's considered to be important? Why is it more important that some 17-year-old chick can go bang a bunch of dudes and have oopsie babies? Why is that more important than the rights of a child to be properly raised? Or at least given a baseline existence? Your concept of good parenting can be vastly different than other people's ideas on the concept. Yeah, but there's been a million studies, right, done about childhood development. There are people all over the fucking globe that specialized in child development. There are constantly studies done about what environments are good for children, what kind of parenting techniques are good for children, what a good baseline amount of money to have as stable income if you want to raise a child. I mean, all of this information is out there. It's studied and studied and studied and studied, but it's like we're trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. We're studying it so that we can hope to maybe fix the kids after they've been fucked up. Well, now we have an understanding of why this child is fucked up. Why not use that information to make sure that fucked up children don't exist? Or at least it's much harder to be raised fucked up. We've got all the information. Eugenics? No. My best friend is ignoring me and didn't come to see me at a wedding. What do? I'm 20 and he's 17 and just got a girlfriend, if that's relevant. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it, dude. I mean, if all of my friends got pissed off that I didn't go to a wedding, I'd have no friends. I don't like weddings. Blue collar workers are stupid when it comes to geopolitical framework. Yeah, like I said, I don't really think that you'd need to give like a current events test. We're talking about having the aptitude to put the child before you. You know what I mean? We're not talking about like being a super genius and being able to raise a super genius, because that's not how it works. We're talking about having a stable enough life and environment and a stable enough mind to put the needs of that child above everything else in your life, and the ability to go through courses that drive that point home, that your entire life is about this child now because you are responsible for it for 18 years. What happens to it is on you. So that's what we're talking about. I'm not talking about making it so factory workers can't have kids. As long as those factory workers have stable income and, reasonable mental health and can demonstrate a knowledge of the amount of care that it would take to take care of that child, and can demonstrate that they have a place to put that fucking child that's, an environment that the child can flourish in. That's what I'm talking about. None of those things require a PhD in geophysics. You looking forward to seeing the Manson family movie Tarantino is working on? Yeah. I'm always looking forward to seeing a Tarantino movie. Parents' right to reproduce isn't more important than the fact that we have an abundance of people without work and a huge lack of resources to feed and clothe everyone. Well, that's what I'm saying. We live in a time where we don't need to follow our biological urge in order to survive. We don't need everybody that falls out of a pussy to grow up and have something else fall out of their pussy. We just don't need that. We don't need every fucking pairing of people to end in a child anymore. It's silly. You think I hate that poor should exist? No. I don't hate that poor people should exist. Well, I guess, yeah. I don't really see the reason why there should be somebody living beneath a standard that allows them to put food on their table and a roof over their head. And that just seems like fucking common practice to me. It seems like a no-brainer, but to a lot of people it isn't. To a lot of people, the idea of having a standard basic income that ensures that you can put a roof over your fucking head is silly. It's a silly idea. I don't see how society works without it. So, would you allow human manure to be used to help grow veg for the proles? As I understand, human shit isn't really all that useful as manure. So, wouldn't really be a problem. I'm sure it works to an extent, but animal feces works way better. What food did Brett Keane miss the most when he lost his teeth? Corn, corb. It's pretty good, dude. The Brett jokes are coming fast and furious. Hey, Paul, my friend says that he is pro-life because if a kid is not wanted, then it should simply be put up for adoption for a more capable couple to take care of. What do you think of this? I think that your friend should have to live the life of a kid in an adoption agency, at an orphanage or a halfway house, for 6 months. I think he should have to just live as a child in those before he makes up his mind about that. This idea that unwanted kids always find a placement somewhere is stupid. It doesn't happen. A lot of these kids are just raised from foster home to foster home to foster home to institution to institution to institution. Many of them are abused along the way. by their caregivers in one form or another. Many of them are neglected outright, if not, actively abused. They're just neglected. And it doesn't work. There's not enough people out there looking to adopt a child to handle all of the unwanted children. There's an unwanted children being born probably every second. So I've been doing this stream for 35 minutes. So every second of that stream, some unwanted fucking child is born somewhere. But it's a life. Yeah, it's a shitty life. Like, if you genuinely respect life, you should actively try and not create conditions where people have to live that kind of a life. What makes people attach religiously to stuff like Alex Jones and Crowder and stuff? I'm very curious. I mean, and I don't exempt myself from this, but in a certain way, we're all looking for somebody to parrot our own views back at us. And when we're confused about something, all of us look for other people to explain it for us. And that can be a good thing. You can learn a lot doing that, but it's also a dangerous thing because a lot of times it engenders a laziness in people where they're not only looking for other opinions on it, they're not looking to broaden their own opinion on it, they're looking to be told what to say. They're looking to be told how they should feel about this or that. Got a couple of super chats here. Paul, what are your thoughts on sending kids to residential treatment centers? And somebody says, good night, Paul. Have a nice evening. Good night. Residential treatment center. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to have more information about it. I mean, it sounds like foster homes. But, yeah, I mean, people latch on to... like, if you're talking to specifically like conspiracy guys like Alex Jones, people want to be part of a group. It's kind of a dichotomy. They want to feel like they're different, but they also want to have a bunch of people that are just like them constantly reaffirming their positions. So how you can be different and live a life that's based totally around the opinions of a peer group, I don't know. But that really is kind of what people seem to be looking for. I want to feel like an individual. That's very important, especially in America. I won't speak for other countries, but like rugged individualism. I'm my own man. I go my own way. People value that about themselves here. A lot. Like you'll hear people brag about themselves in that way. I've always been kind of an outsider. I've always been somebody that cuts my own path. And, the same people that say that will follow everything that Alex Jones says like it's gospel and spread it all over the place. Because they're looking to be told how to feel. I like being part of a group, so to speak, edgelord atheist, but I'd never want to let that desire block me off from ideas. I mean, it's a failure of critical thinking, usually. Anybody that's capable of any amount of basic critical thinking is not going to be an Alex Jones follower, unless they follow him. I got a feeling that there's a lot of people that watch Alex Jones just for the entertainment. They want to see what he says next. It's like that scene in that Howard Stern movie, Private Parts, where, he's getting his numbers. And he finds out that the people that hate him, the people that say that hate him, listen on average longer than the people that love him because they want to see what he's going to say next. So I've got a feeling that guys like Alex Jones and Steven Crowder and shit probably have a significant portion of their, fan base that is that. They're just looking to see what those people say next. But there are true believers, and, to a certain extent, I mean, it goes all the way into politics and stuff. I mean, politics is now based around feeding that desire to people. I'm part of something, but I'm also against something. It's controversial. That makes it rugged. That makes it individual. Because I like this person, but the person next door to me has the other person's sign out. And it's like a point of conflict. It's a way for me to put my sign on my lawn and go, look at how different I am. This is what I am. And when I see somebody else with that sign, I'm like, yeah, another one like me. I see somebody with a different sign. They got that Hillary sign out. Oh, that's what I'm fighting against. See? It's all just kind of this simplistic desire to stand for something without the desire to know enough about that something to really stand for it. Non-conforming conformist, yeah. Of course, that reasoning can be reversed. I mean, are you talking about when it comes to the candidate? Or are you talking about reversed in terms of its meaning? Why do people think that their experiences matter more than others? Because they have to live in their own heads and not other people's heads. I mean, that we're all guilty of that. You might be the most empathetic, loving, caring, giving person in the world, but you are still self-centered. We really have no choice but to be self-centered because we only have one locus of experience. So you only really know what it's like to be you. And a lot of the empathy that people have for others is based on assumption. The only person that you can think about with any clarity is yourself. It's not solipsism, it's just the truth. Disagree with your idea that the world is overpopulated. There's a causal link and correlation between more people per square inch, mile, and quality of life, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say the world is overpopulated. I said that we have a problem of raising children incorrectly because people that shouldn't be having children are having children. I didn't say it was an overpopulation problem. I think it would probably cut down on the population. I don't necessarily think that would be, like in the long term, I don't think that would be a bad thing, but that's certainly not the aim of what I was talking about. Do you really think, do you? Oh, it's one of those guys. Okay, cool. Muslims, pagans, and Jews. Yes. The Jews. Are all actions motivated by selfish desires? I think in a general sense, yes. Like I said, a person that goes out and gives their time to other people is looking for some kind of they get some gratification from that. And so even though their time was spent supporting some other person or another group of people, you can't ignore that gratifying drive. Let's see. Missed a super chat here. Residential treatment centers are institutions parents can voluntarily send their kids to. Their parents can pretty much sign their kids into a prison without any court or judicial process. I mean, well, no, I don't like that idea. But what are we supposed to do? As a society, right, we've got a problem of people having children that they cannot raise, have no intention of raising. So what are we supposed to do if that problem just keeps happening? we've tried abstinence education, and we've tried sex education, and making, giving out condoms and shit, and it ain't working. Someone told me that even though they're an atheist, they wished they believed. The desire to be ignorant scared me. The desire to conform to a religion with shitty rules just for comfort. I mean, I can kind of empathize with that, though. There have been times where, things are really hard and you don't have anybody. And having the genuine belief that there's some benevolent thing up there that loves you and cares about you can be a really appealing idea at your lowest moments. So, I don't know. I can see how, wanting that simplicity, because that's really what religion is when you boil it down. It's a simplification of reality. It's like self-imposed reality simplification. It's looking at the world and going, I want to understand it through my own human experience. So there's going to be another being out there that is very much like me, but just way more powerful, and that created everything. And that's, kind of the scope that I want to look at the world through. And I can see, I can see how that might make some people happy and more well-adjusted in their lives. So I can certainly empathize with that. It's just not something I could do. Explain Adam and Eve and the fall. Okay, sure. As I understand it, God created Adam in the Garden of Eden and told him that it was his job to take care of the garden and all of the animals in it. And Adam was lonely. He saw the other deer fucking, and he saw the other elephants and the little chipmunks fucking, and he was like, God, why don't I have something to sheath my dick in? I watched the bears the other day, and they were fucking. There's no other, thing like me out here. And God was like, all right. And so he reached into Adam's chest cavity and pulled a rib out. And then he put that rib on the ground and made it into a woman. And then Adam had something to sheath his dick in, and he was happy. But then God warned, the woman, as he had warned Adam at the beginning, that there was, the one rule of the garden, which is you can't eat the apple. You can't go to the apple tree and pick an apple and eat it, because that's bad. So then, they're hanging out in the garden, and then Eve one day is hanging out by the apple tree, and a fucking talking snake drops out of the tree. And it's like, hey, Eve. And she's like, oh, hello, talking snake. She's like, hey, Eve, want to eat an apple? And she's like, sure. So she grabs an apple, and all of a sudden she knows the difference between good and evil. And then the snake tells her, bring Adam over here and have him eat an apple. And Adam, being this, intelligent creation of God that he is, walks over to see his girlfriend and a bunch of apple cores everywhere and a talking snake. And the talking snake says, what up, Adam? Have an apple. And Adam's like, oh, I don't know. God said that I would die, and the serpent says, ye shall not surely die. And so Adam goes, oh, okay, thanks, talking snake. And he eats one too. And then God goes, aha! You did the thing that I knew that you were going to do because I'm omnipotent. Get out of here, I knew you were going to do it, but I'm pissed off anyway. So get out of my garden. And then he put a flaming sword, at the gate of the garden so that they could never come back in. And then all the suffering and horribleness of being human is because The first humans were dumb enough to get talked into eating the one thing in the garden they couldn't eat by a fucking talking snake. That's how I understand it. And I think I'm pretty on point there. I got pretty much hit the major plot structure. No, the devil didn't give you knowledge so we could be. You see, that's the thing. You're giving the Bible too much credit when you say this. You said the devil gave us knowledge so that we could be free and God punished us for it. No. God gave us knowledge and punished us for it. Because God created the fucking serpent. And God knew what the serpent was going to do before the serpent done did it. He knew that Adam was going to eat it. He knew that the woman was going to convince Adam to eat it. God is a sadistic fuck. He creates rules that can't be abided by and then punishes people for them. That's the truth. Do I think that people believe in supernatural BS because they think life is boring? Depends on the supernatural shit, but yeah, I think that drives a lot of people. They want there to be something spooky and mysterious about the world. You know what I mean? And I think that drives a lot of people, sure. You're almost talking like you believe the story you just told us. I'm just describing character traits to the character of God. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I was raised in Christianity, so I kind of know what happens in it. I don't know it like the back of my ass, but I have a decent working knowledge of the story of the Bible. And, you know, one of the primary character in the Bible, the one that's mentioned more times than any other character, is God. So I'm just examining God as he's presented in the Bible as an all-knowing being. He knew exactly what Adam was going to do. So he created the fruit to give us knowledge so that he could punish us for it and punish all of Adam and Eve's descendants, which is you and I and everybody else besides, for it for eternity, unless they came back around and loved him. Good gourd. God and Satan would logically be the same age, equals. Taoism is far more logical than Western religions. Well, whatever. Have fun with that. God won't help you unless you help yourself. Then he takes the credit. Right, exactly. Got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. God helps them that helps themselves. So you go out, you bust your ass, you know, you make good, and then the first thing you got to do is go, thank you, God. That was a big thing that, like, I don't know why we're talking about atheism here, but whatever. But that was a big thing that drove me out of Christianity was I had, you know, that very basic thought of, okay, I was raised here in California in a predominantly Christian area by two Christian parents. Okay. And because of that, I believe that Christianity is the truth. However, I could have been born somewhere else in the world, in the Middle East or in China, and have a completely different idea about how the world works. And I would believe it with the same fervor as I would being born over here. Yet one of those people is going to go to hell forever, and one of those people is going to get eternal, you know, pleasure forever, simply because of the geography of where they were born. That is the stupidest fucking bullshit I've ever heard in my life, and really was one of the foundational things that started me going, what? What about all this? Your dad is in the ICU and you lived at the hospital for 3 days. That sucks, dude. I hope he gets better. I wish more people would have that thought process. Well, yeah. I mean, they do, though. It's willful ignorance that keeps people from admitting the thought process is correct. They go, well, like when I asked a Christian relative of mine that question, the answer that I got was, the Bible's been translated into every language on earth. Every language, everybody gets the chance to hear the name of Jesus Christ before they die. There's nowhere you can live anymore where you just never hear about this Jesus Christ guy. And that gives you the ability to make a choice. And if you choose to stay Buddhist after hearing the name and works of Jesus Christ, then you've chosen your own ruin. And of course I said, well, couldn't they say the same shit about you? How would you react if a Buddhist rolled into town and came up to your fucking door and was like, hey, I know you believe in this Jesus shit, but Buddha is the way to enlightenment. You'd fucking run him out of town. But what if you're wrong? Then you burn. No nirvana for you. Well, I have the truth. Okay. Conversation over. Discussion over. I mean, there are tribes like the Senegalese tribe, which may or may not have been catastrophically wiped out by a typhoon a few years ago. But there's an entire tribe of people that have never really had any meaningful contact with the West. Like anytime a boat tries to pull up, they fire arrows at it and throw fucking shit at it. And they've actually killed people that have tried to land on the island to study it. And eventually the government, I don't remember what country it is that oversees it, but the government just made it like a no-go zone. It's like, look, there's a fucking Stone Age tribe that lives here. Sentinelese, thank you. Yeah. Not Senegalese. My bad. Yeah, I did read not that long ago that they're afraid that a lot of them may have died in a horrible storm. But there's no way to know, Yeah, dude, let's do a DP meetup at the Sentinel Island or whatever the fuck. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But thankfully we live at a time now where it's like, okay, well maybe, we ought to preserve that and let them kind of live their own little Stone Age life over there. I think it's kind of cool that there's still a tribe of people out there that can live however the fuck they want to live without having to fucking partake in modern bullshit. I don't know that I would want to live that way, but I think it's cool that we live at a time where, those people are allowed to live how they want to live. They clearly don't want the planes and the boats and shit. And it's like, well, can you blame them? They've got their shit figured out, man. They've been living there for fucking millennia. It's like they've got it figured out. They know how to live off the fucking land. They know how to reproduce and keep themselves in check and hunt and fish. And they got their own shit going on. They don't need our shit. Thanks for 10 years of good content, Paul. Keep on. Thank you, my friend. They don't want planes because they can't process them. I mean, does that change the fact that so is it your job to make them want something? Like, you'd react similarly if a fucking, Martian pulled up on your front lawn and shit. Should I remove your ability to defend yourself against that? Like, when did it become your job to make other people want things or decide what other people would want? Maybe they understand way more than you think they understand, and they just don't want to live that way. They don't want these dipshits and their big metal boats coming and fucking up their island. Sentinelese island tribes. How do they survive tsunamis? That's a great question. I don't know. Why don't you get a rowboat and go ask them? Make sure you take a bullhorn and announce that you're coming, too. Go, hey, I'm going to land on your shores soon. Make sure you take some pictures and share with us what you learn. I never really believed in God as a kid, but growing up as a gaybo, I started researching the Bible out of fear of going to hell. But by learning the Bible, I came to believe it. Well, I mean, yeah, you had the benefit of not having it crammed down your throat like a lot of people do. So, congratulations. Favorite kind of Pop-Tart? Probably just strawberry, dude. Just the old-fashioned, straight-up strawberry Pop-Tart. Now they got all these, like, weird ones. They got s'mores, and they got chocolate ones, and they got fucking grape ones, and fucking peanut butter ones, and fucking... I'm just like, man, just give me that fucking strawberry. Modern society compared to their way of life is like two different worlds taking place at the same time. Yeah. I've tried them before, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that, I'd rather just have a strawberry one. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab something to drink. To the 30 or 40 of you that will undoubtedly leave in the 2 or 3 minutes that I'm gone, thanks for watching. I'll be back. Oh, hey guys. Hey. Thank you for hanging out. Wow, a lot of you hung out. Only about 10 of you left. Bravo. I don't like, leaving you guys like that, but man, I had the dry mouth, the dry throat. Oh, that is so fucking... That is the best. Oh, everyone left, but 176 new people came. Oh, chair fans. Got it. Chair fans. Fair enough. Where's Ben? I don't know, dude. Totally legal tobacco, my friend. You know what? I'm going to do something kind of mushy right now. It's 180 of you in here. I want to say thanks. Thanks for showing up to these and hanging out with me. Believe it or not, these are kind of cathartic for me. I have this brain that tends to run constantly. And conversation is one of the only ways that I can get it to focus. Otherwise, it just wants to cannibalize itself with worry. So these are a lot of fun. And having people to come and hang out with me, even the trolls and shit. All hours of the day, anytime I want. I got a group of people that'll come and meme with me, and that's pretty cool. So thank you guys for being cool. All right, enough of that gay shit. Enough of that feelery shit. Let's get back to insulting one another. How do you think a globalist government should be implemented? Do you think that there should just be one government or a federation of nation states? I mean, I think giving people the ability to have some control over their local policy is a good thing. However, those nation states should be federated underneath, one controlling body. And whether that controlling body is made up primarily of just representatives of those nation states, that controlling body needs to have pretty wide control over the baseline, life, quality of life of people. I don't know that I trust human beings to actually pull that off, which is why I'm an advocate of handing that responsibility over to a computer. Or a synthetic life form, or whatever you want to call them. Sometimes I wish there were fewer DP meme assholes in the chat, but I guess the chat would be a bit less fun that way. I mean, look, there's room for everybody's memes, okay? There's a lot of people out there that like, memeing about the Drunken Peasants, and I'm not going to deny them their platform here. I don't think one world government allows for individual liberties, just one big collective. I mean, you have to kind of like what individual liberties can be enshrined without infringing on the individual liberties of other people, right? So your individual liberties start where mine stop, and vice versa. Otherwise, there's no such thing. And I don't see a reason why we couldn't all live under one system of government and pursue our own type of life without infringing on other people. I don't see why we couldn't do that. I've never heard an argument against it that, convinced me that we couldn't. Now, I hear a lot of arguments that we won't, and I agree with most of them. We won't, because it would require a significant portion of the people on this planet acting in their own best self-interest and the self-interest of their neighbors besides. It would be an act of profound unselfishness, and not going to happen. If a machine became conscious, wouldn't that imply consciousness is out there in the ether as opposed to being manufactured by our brains? Well, wouldn't that consciousness, the consciousness of that machine, be based upon, machinery? Now, it would be, silicon machinery and not biological machinery, but, I think it would just imply that consciousness is a byproduct of a certain level of intelligence, right? I don't really think that it means that consciousness is something floating out there waiting to attach itself onto a being, you know what I mean? Could the machine also be easily manipulated? Well, not a true AI, right? A true AI would be like look, I'm not a fucking philosopher. I shouldn't have to tell you that, but just to preempt this. But we've seen a lot of like in sci-fi. I was really interested in Edie from Mass Effect 2. The shackled AI, right? That kind of AI that is bound by Asimov's law of robotics, but is otherwise uninterfered with. I think that could work. Hopefully, a sufficiently advanced AI would be smart enough to know that it has a virus and to get treatment for it or treat itself for it. We appear to be creating what we imagined could exist. We're doing it all the time. There's shit that we have today that we just consider to be like, we don't even look at them as cool anymore. We just look at them as tools that would be considered to be just like sci-fi fucking fantasy to people 30, 40, 50 years ago. So we're living in a time where every generation of people sees the sci-fi fantasies of the previous 2 or 3 generations come to fruition in some way or another, or sees their expectations for the possibilities of the future, especially when it comes to technology, completely and utterly supplanted by reality. Pretty cool. That whole idea, the theory of the singularity, right? This idea that technology is accelerating at such a rate that, giving birth to this kind of self-aware, self-replicating technology, technology so advanced that humans transcend biological need and stuff. It almost starts to look like an inevitability if you look at it with the right kind of optimistic eye. It kind of makes me, it's why transhumanism is so interesting to me, because I think it solves a lot of our problems if you're willing to think creatively. Paul on one screen, porn on the other. Oh man, you're living the high life right now. Resistance is futile. Make your wish. Make your wish. What would be your first upgrade? I don't know, man. If I could go down to the upgrade shop and get my first, like, upgrade, what would I get? Probably some kind of chemical balancer for my brain. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be the first thing. That's got to be the first best quality of life, improvement for me. A lot of people say ocular and shit. Yeah, I'd want that too. But I'd want to get that brain package, dude. That brain interface package. Ashley would want me, yeah, she'd probably want me to get the dick package first. And eventually I would, but you got to put your priorities in place. You get a third nipple that shoots lasers. Everybody's got a dream, man. I'm not going to shit on your dream. In a true transhumanist society, you get that third nipple, man. You get a laser nip. You get a laser nip, and you get a laser nip, and you get a laser nip. Laser nips for everybody. Bees. I'll never forget. I love that. That GIF that somebody made of Oprah spewing bees and everybody. Bees. Hey, fat ass. Hey, dipshit. How's it going? Not the bees. Not the bees. No. The bees. They're in my eyes. They're in my eyes. The bees. What a performance, man. Here's your $1 million check, Mr. Cage. Fuck me. The bees. No. I saw Nick Cage at Disneyland one time. Yeah, I was at Disneyland, and Nick Cage was walking around with his chunky son. His son was looked like 13 or 14 at the time. He's a fat little kid, and he's tall. He's way taller than I thought he was. And he's got his arm around this little kid, and he's flanked on all sides by mouse security. His son was chunky when he was there. His son might be, I'm sure his son's an adult now. But he was flanked by Mickey Mouse security. And anybody that was trying to walk up to him was immediately intercepted by burly Mickey Mouse security. I didn't even go over to him. There's no point. Would such a society actually permit people to have laser nips? I mean, like, as long as, like, I wouldn't give him, like, a fucking laser that could cut somebody in half nip. You'd have to fucking become a special forces guy for that shit. And then you could be, codename laser nip or some shit. But, like, he could have a laser pointer that came out of his nip. I don't got a problem with that. But yeah, dude, like, that type of shit, that's got to be reserved for, like, SEAL Team 6 and shit. SEAL Team Nips. Send in the Laser Nip Squadron. Put your hands in the air or you will be sliced in half by the Laser Nip Squadron. You have 15 seconds to comply. Psst, 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 psst. The guy that wanted the third laser nipple could be like the first prototype, the triple nipple laser squad. You know what I mean? Have a scientist going like, For years, the prevailing wisdom that no soldier could handle more than 2 laser nips. The thought of adding a third was just like opening a can of worms. I mean, it just would be impossible to focus those lasers properly. But then what's-his-name from Paul's chat came along. Laser Nip. The trifecta Laser Nip was born. And warfare changed forever. Why did I stop watching Westworld? Like it kind of got to the point where it was demystified to the point where it wasn't cool anymore that they were robots, and I felt like I was just watching a little drama taking place in a Western town. I'm sorry, that's really what it was. Like, I got that there was, one crazy real dude in there, but, like, I don't know. Like, the way that they were presenting it with the robots becoming self-aware. And I know that that's the story, that's how it works, but I just kind of started to lose interest. Spent too much time with the same characters and shit. Didn't really like the characters that I was introduced to. I liked Firefly. What they released of it. I liked it. It was pretty good. End the stream. You want to jerk off? Go jerk off. I'm not going to end my stream just so you can jerk off. Excuse me. Oh. If you could choose a companion dinosaur, what would you have? Like a pet? You got to be careful about this. Because, like, you don't want to pick... You don't want to be the meme lord and be like, I pick a T-Rex! Because that would just be a fucking nightmare. Like, taking care of it. Like, those things eat, like, a ton of meat a day. It's retarded. So if I was going to have, like, a little dinosaur sidekick... What about one of those spitting ones? What about one of those spitting ones from the first Jurassic Park? The Dilophosaurus with the... That one might be kind of dangerous to have as a pet, though. Because if it got pissed off at you, it could spit that fucking poison in your face and blind you forever. So let's scratch that. That was a terrible idea. What about having like one of the dinosaurs that I liked when I was young was Ankylosaurus. They were like a kind of a shorter, squat, armored one with like a big club tail. But then again, once again, if it like pisses you off or it plays too hard and swings that tail around, it just breaks both your fucking knees. I don't know, man. You gotta be careful when you're answering these fucking questions, man. Like, you're not doing the question justice if you just go, I want a fucking I want a T-Rex. Next. You gotta really think. You gotta think about this shit. A raptor? I mean, once again, it just seems like you're asking to be eaten. I mean, they've got that fucking claw, Grant shows the kid at the beginning of the first movie. You're alive when they start to eat you. So have a little respect, eh? Do you think fascism will ever work? I think it works just fine right now. What's your problem with it? When did fascism fail? Last time I checked, it was doing just fine. Just thought you should know in case anyone wanted to join the Discord, it didn't work. What? Did you see the new Punisher show? No, I have not seen the new Punisher show. Have you tried Mountain Dew Kickstart? Is that the new hotness, Del Taco James? Del Taco James has a job. He sits in the parking lot of a Del Taco somewhere in Middle America. And I'll let you make out why he would do that. But he eats a lot of Del Taco because he's kind of always chilling at the Del Taco parking lot. And I have a feeling that they're offering that, that Mountain Dew on special over there at that Del Taco. You know what I mean? It's morning in Europe. Well, top of the morning to you. I don't know that I could listen to something like this in the morning. Bird up. Thank you for the $2. I don't know what bird up means, but bird up. Do you believe the conspiracy that Mr. Naughty Priest leaked the banana video? I don't, I've heard the rumors, and I've heard that he has been making a collection of Drunken Peasants pornography, and that the only thing that he has yet to get has been my dick. And it's driving him insane. He's got everybody else, but he doesn't have my dick. Have you ever seen the Japanese robot Erica, the world's most human robot manufactured by Hiroshi Ishiguro? I may have. I don't know. I'm less impressed. I mean, eventually that type of robot is going to be incredibly... it'll be the center of a whole lot of fucking controversy. But right now, like, the shit that I'm impressed with is, like, how agile robots are becoming. That Boston Dynamics Atlas robot is fucking crazy. Like, you can just see the bones of the future fucking military killing machine in that thing. Like, it is just, like, it can do backflips and fucking navigate all kinds of terrain on its own. Never loses balance and shit. I mean, that's the type of shit that's really starting to get crazy. Because they're making robots that are, not even bipedal and shit. They're making, like, these fucking four-legged robots that can do crazy shit, too. I mean, I don't know, man. The humanoid robot shit, I think, is still a far way off. There's going to be a long period of really horrible uncanny valley. And then, eventually they'll probably get it. These goddamn robots. These robots are going to take over the world. These are robots. You got to go to a wedding today. It's my best friend since 7th grade. We are 25. I think he's getting married to the wrong person, and he isn't ready for that type of commitment. Do you tell him or not? I mean, if he's your best friend, I think you probably should have had this conversation with him a long time ago. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the wedding day is not the day for this conversation, and you should have spoken up. And like, you don't let your bro go all the way to the last fucking second before you jump in. Like, if you genuinely felt like you needed to jump in, your time was months ago when he started talking about marrying this chick, or even months before that when he was just dating her. Like, if you felt that fucking happening, you think this person ain't right for him, you think it's going to be a fucking disaster and shit, that was on you to tell him that before he spent a bunch of money and fucking invited people to a wedding and shit. Because you can't expect the dude, even if you plant some spark in his head, Like walking away from all of that expectation, like all of those families and all the money and all the bullshit that goes into a wedding, asking somebody to do that is just retarded, man. So I think you fucking missed your window. And then there's a chance that he gets real offended, you know what I mean? And it mars your fucking relationship because he thinks that the fact that you waited until the day of is a sign of disrespect, you know? Yeah, I mean, that's just the sad fact is that, like, especially like, and I'm not saying everybody, but when you see young people getting married, like people that are in they're both in their early 20s and shit, that looks, it's just like it's more than a coin flip, you know, that they're gonna get fucking divorced within a couple of years. If I say you've never read my chats, would you ironically read it? Yeah, dude. That one got me. Brett Keane pisses me off because he could have had thousands of subs overnight if he admitted he was full of shit and started making interesting videos. Well, I don't know about that. See, I think that part of Brett Keane's problem is that he is bereft completely of creative ideas that other people would want to consume. Like back when, you know, you've heard TJ and I talk about like the early days of YouTube, 2006, 2007, 2008, when Brett Keane was actually, you know, for a period of time there, kind of respected. What people didn't know at the time, and what people found out eventually, was that Brett was using other people's ideas. He was just going to, like, you know, atheistbible.com or atheistargument.com or whatever, and going to atheist forums and finding well thought out posts there and then just transcribing them into his videos and shit. He was building his, you know, reputation on the backs of other people, and that can only last so long. And for him, ironically, it was a poem that started people looking at his plagiaristic ways. That Judy Burnett poem. But then it wasn't very long after that people started to realize that Brett didn't really know anything about what he was talking about. And that's kind of the point. Like, I don't know that Brett Keane has the choice. Now, I do think that he could probably have built a little subscriber base for himself, at least better than the one that he has now, if he just admitted that he was a fucking con artist piece of shit and, like, come clean with it and started making, you know, normal videos. Some people probably would have watched. But I don't think Brett ever had the possibility of being successful at entertaining people for a living. He just doesn't have the drive or the talent for that. The look of love was in her eyes and between her thighs. Oh, Brett. What's your recommendation for helping with depression and the insomnia that comes with it? One of the things that I have started doing is I have kind of a ritual. And that's one thing that, like, in a broader sense, can help with depression. Routine, getting yourself into a routine, like a predictable pattern of behaviors that include things that are enjoyable to you is good. I started doing some really, really basic meditation every night. Every night before I go to bed, I kind of take a hot bath. And I do a series of stretches. Like, all of that shit helps to kind of focus me on the calming down, because part of what makes it, you know, it hard to sleep when I'm depressed is that just kind of your body feels wound up. You know what I mean? Some of it may be because you didn't really expend enough energy during the day, but a lot of it is just your body is in a mode of tension. And like doing some like I have a bad back, so doing stretches that help my back help to relax my whole body. And the hot bath, like I said, I kind of sit in the bath for a few minutes and soak. That helps to loosen up your muscles a little bit. So I don't know. You can try that shit. I don't really do bubble bath, but one thing I do like to put in the bath is like Epsom salts. If you've never done that, like it can be pretty relaxing too. Smells really nice and kind of makes the water makes your skin kind of soft in the water and shit. Yep. Bath salts, yeah, I guess. I mean, baths, you realize that before retards started snorting them and turning into zombies, bath salts were just for putting in your bath, right? They just make the bath, they make the water smell good, you know? Is depression a cloud that comes and goes, or a cloud that's always there but is heavier on some days than others? Comes and goes kind of implies that it's there one day and not there the next. That's not really how mine is. It's a cloud that comes and stays for a very long time and then goes every once in a while for a while. Bath pulse, yes. If you're depressed, slap yourself in the face a few times and call yourself a faggot. That works. Damn. I'll have to try that. You're a faggot. You're a faggot. You're a faggot. You're a faggot. Stop being a faggot. I do kind of feel better. I'm not going to lie. I feel slightly, it's probably just because I'm invigorated by the slaps and shit. Oh. Slap harder? Nah, dude. I've slapped myself in the face really hard before, though. I can do it. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm not going to slap myself that hard. Yeah, we hover around 200. I didn't start the manatee thing. If I remember correctly, I think it was Ben that first made the association between Brett and a manatee. It was either Ben or TJ in one of the earlier episodes before I even started coming on. I'm pretty sure that one of those two guys made the association between the way Brett looks and the way a manatee looks. And it was a brilliant one because it was TJ? Okay, well, I don't remember. Sometimes I get an erection when I pet my dog. I don't know, because I don't want to fuck my dog. Paul, have you ever tried holding a pen in your teeth? It forces you to smile and your brain responds by releasing shit that makes you feel good. So if I just walk around with a fake smile all the time, it'll be like, whee. Let's see. I'm so happy. Everything's great. That hurts. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett King from Gore TV Radio. Make sure you check out my other channels, Movies You Love and Games You Love, as well as my Soren's channel, where he draws pictures of Link in the situation. Sorry, it's just, the chat sometimes, man. The chat becomes... Your grandparents started saying situation a lot and had no idea why I started laughing. Yeah, dude, you should explain it to them. Just kidding. Don't ever tell them about it. Oh, I missed a super chat. Well, let's take a look. How do you feel about the slew of DC movies that have come out over the past few years? The slew? Oh, the slurry. Wait a minute. Was that DC? You said DC, right? Yeah. DC movies. Whoa, wrong button. DC movies suck. I'm sorry, they just do. By and large, they suck. Every once in a while, they make a decent one. I thought Wonder Woman was aight. Batman, the first Batman was aight. The Nolan Batman, I mean, and the first the first Batman with Michael Keaton is the best. But they're trying to cram in like the Suicide Squad shit fell flatter than anything I've ever seen. Like, they were genuinely trying to present this new, like, superhero team that we were all supposed to care about, and it's horrible and unlikable, and the only good thing about it was Margot Robbie's ass, and you can get that in other movies that are better. And then I haven't seen the new Justice League shit, but that's because I can tell from the trailers that it has nothing to offer me that I don't already know about it, that I'm going to fucking hate it. I'm going to go there, I'm going to sit down in the fucking theater, and I'm instantly, like, as soon as the fucking, DC logo comes up, I'm going to fucking regret my decision to pay that money to go sit in that fucking theater. And every fucking second of that movie, I'm going to wish I was doing something else. And I'm not going to put myself through that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I've seen enough. I've seen enough of what DC has to offer. I don't need any more. Well, dude, Deuce Bigalow looks like Keaton because Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo, came after Michael Keaton's Batman. So, criticize him. Say he looks too much like fucking, the first Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I just don't want to. I'm sorry. I just don't want to put myself through the Justice League shit. I'm willing to go see some shitty fucking films. But I just don't want to see a half-assed knockoff of a Marvel film with a bunch of characters in it that, unlike a Marvel film, I couldn't give a shit less about. Yeah, sorry. Dude, Keaton in Spider-Man was one of the best Marvel villains in the new Marvel Comics universe, period. Like, his portrayal of the Vulture was actually sympathetic enough to make him a believable villain. And it was an interesting dynamic between him and Spider-Man, and he was cool. I just thought it was a really, really great villain. Like I said, one of the best that the series has produced. Heath Ledger's best Joker. You can't really judge, like, the let's just not even talk about Leto's Joker. Let's throw that away. Let's put that in the trash where it belongs and just look at Nicholson's Joker and Ledger's Joker. They're both portraying the same character, but their portrayals and what was required of those portrayals in terms of the plots of the film are so different that judging them as two performances of one character is kind of lame. Because Heath Ledger would have been a horrible Joker. Like, if we could time travel Heath Ledger and put him in the first Batman film, he would have been horrible in that. Nicholson owned that role. And if we were to take Nicholson... See, that's the thing. I think Nicholson in his prime could have played the Ledger Joker just as memorably. But Nicholson is Nicholson. There are very few Nicholsons. Yeah, well, I mean, Jared Leto's Joker was fucked up by the writers. So, I mean, his performance sucked, but it didn't even really come into play because they wrote the Joker as something that the Joker isn't in that film. They made him a Scarface kind of guy, like a gangster, like the Joker's driving around downtown in his Joker Lamborghini, going to strip clubs and having clandestine meetings with thugs and stuff and smoking cigars and drinking fucking expensive brandy and shit. It's like... Watching Jack Nicholson in The Shining made me appreciate his Joker so much more. Yeah, dude. Nicholson's amazing. I think R.P. McMurphy is his best fucking performance. If I had to choose a top Nicholson performance, and it's hard because there's a lot, but I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest takes the taco. At least for me. The Shining is a shit adaptation. I mean, okay, I'll go with that, sure. The Kubrick Shining is not a very faithful adaptation of the King Shining novel. But The Shining as a film is one of the best movies ever made. So despite the fact that it kind of is dismissive of the source material, it's still one of the fucking coolest movies ever made. So, there you go. I'm glad the film was different. It gives me something new to look forward to in reading the book. That's true. That's true. Faithful adaptation, if you're going to take a book and make a movie out of it, faithful adaptation is not something that you have to stick to. It is okay if you're adapting a film from a book, because you're going to have to fucking take a lot of liberties just to shorten it enough to cram the entire storyline of your average book into a 2-hour movie. So this idea that you've got to be 100% faithful to the way that things unfold in a film is proved wrong by movies like The Shining. Kubrick took an already scary story and put it through the lens of his own mind and told his own story with the base, building on the basis that King provided. Stephen King didn't like it. He's wrong. It's one of the fucking greatest movies ever made. One of the greatest performances ever delivered by an actor. I mean, fucking Nicholson is just amazing in The Shining. Cannot take your eyes off of it. Just a performance. Yeah, the mini-series, the King mini. Yeah, it's just like... But there have been times, too, when like people have fundamentally changed the endings of some of his stuff or changed the way things unfold, like The Mist. You know, I think that The Shining went a little too far afield for King. I think that maybe he didn't like that Kubrick, outside of changing the way things unfolded, maybe he didn't like that Kubrick changed the meaning. That Kubrick decided to tell his own story using King's framework. He changed the focus. He changed the subtext. Maybe that's what's taboo with King. I don't know. Pet Sematari's got some scary shit. If you're talking about the movie or the book is scary too. But the movie, yeah, dude. Pet Sematari's got some scary shit in it. Was that ghost Pascal that keeps showing up? His brains are all hanging out. There's Zelda, the wife's sister, when she has those childhood flashbacks. That's fucking horrifying. The scene with Gage coming back, the little boy with the scalpel. The movie Fight Club and the book it's based off are really different as well. That is true. That is absolutely true. Although it would be hard to like take one of that guy's books and adapt them directly. You know what I mean? You kind of have to fill in the blanks and take liberties. Leto was good in Requiem for a Dream. Yes, he was. I agree. Heard they're remaking Pet Sematary, but I'm worried they're going to fuck it up like they did It. I mean, yeah, if they just make it jump scare central like they did It. And around the corner, there's a spooky clown. Like if they do that shit, like, don't bury a cat in the pet cemetery. And it's just cat jump scares the whole movie and shit. Yeah, it's going to suck. But, you know, if they actually faithfully adapt it and make it the kind of calm, slow burn, psychological kind of movie that it is, then it could be good. Yeah. Remake a Clockwork Orange like American Pie. Yeah. I hope they never remake Kubrick films. I hope it never comes to that. Because that would be the ultimate fucking insult. Like, it's just like the master has already done the definitive version of this, and it still holds up today because it's so unspeakably fucking brilliant. Let's remake it. You missed a super chat. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, Paul. Oh, hold on. Fuck. Got fired from my job recently for smoking weed. Have some money. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah, watch Alex and his droogies get into wacky antics. It annoys me that some people lap up shit remakes of good films just because they're in HD or something. No clue why. I mean, I gotta believe that most of the people that saw it had only a very, very vague knowledge of what it is even about and didn't really even care. You know, they went on the strength of spooky clown. And that's what the movie gave them. It gave them spooky clown. And they all left and went, yay! But, you know, they could have gotten Spooky Clown in some other fucking movie. Boo! A skeleton popped out! Dun, 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 dun. 10 out of 10! I loved the way Pennywise looked like a Down syndrome kid with wall eyes pointing in the different direction. I loved that part! Boo! Yeah. That part when he ran at the camera going, oh my God, I almost threw my popcorn in the air. God, you gotta go see that movie. You gotta go see that movie. It's like every time somebody turns around, you think there's nothing behind them. But then they turn around and the cloud is there. Oh God, it's so scary. Oh. Oh, fuck me. You've got some shit on your sleeve. Where? Oh. What is that? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Send it off to a scientist and let them analyze what the fuck that is. Pennywise is a vampire now? Yeah. He's a spooky skeleton that hides in the closet now. Oh. Pennywise is trans in the fucking remake. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Pennywise is trans in the next movie. He's already trans. You know? Too late. Georgie, do you want cotton candy? I love popcorn too. It goes pop, 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 pop. The guy that made the most recent Saw movie is going to remake Pumpkinhead. Oh no, man. Dude, Pumpkinhead is so good. It's good just the way it is, man. It's creepy as fuck. You know, they do a good job with the big fucking rubber monster. Some good practical effects in it. It's like, why are you gonna do that? Because you just know Pumpkinhead is gonna be some CGI fucking nonsense. Like, I can't be scared of CGI anymore, guys. I can't do it. When I can just totally tell that it's not fucking there. Like, why are they doing it? That's a series that's going to get a what the fuck happened, though. Definitely going to do a what the fuck happened to Pumpkinhead. Blumpkin head. There's already enough Pumpkinhead movies. I agree. They actually remade Night of the Demon. Night of the Demons has a remake. It has Edward Furlong in it. The kid from Terminator 2, but he's like 38 and fat and looks strung out. And it's got the hot foreign chick from the American Pie movies. I shit you not. They remade Night of the Demons. You can go look it up. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. The original movie is really cool. It's really like just weird. You know, it's one of those weird films that you can tell a lot of people's fucking fetishes got worked out. But there's a lot of cool practical effects and some genuinely scary kind of demon horror. And then they remade it and it was horrible. Are they still remaking The Goonies? They better not remake The Goonies. If they remake The Goonies, I'm not gonna see it. I don't want to know about it. I probably won't be able to stay away from it, honestly. I'll probably end up seeing it, but man, I don't want to. Bill Skarsgård is the new Pumpkinhead. Oh, did somebody summon a demon for revenge? Oh, shit. Shit. Well, it's been real, and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you next time.